This is chapter 13, preparing for and evaluating the challenges of growth. The chapter objectives describe how firms can properly prepare for growth, discuss the 6 most common reasons firms pursue growth, explain the importance of being able to manage the stages of growth, describe the challenges of firm growth, particularly those of adverse selection and moral hazard. First, the myths of growth. There are common beliefs about growth. All growth is good, bigger is always better, and companies either grow or die. Myth number 1. All growth is good. This is not true, because growth can create value, and growth, if not properly managed, it can destroy value. Too much growth at one time or growth too quickly can outstrip managerial capabilities, quality controls, and financial controls. Myth number 2. Bigger is always better. This is not true. The bigger you become, the more complex management of the business becomes, and more financial working capital and people are needed. As you grow, your competition will change, and you may come up against much bigger and better competition than you are used to. It takes time to put in place better processes, more financial controls, quality controls, technology, people, etc. Myth of growth number 3. All businesses must grow or die. This is not true. There is no empirical basis for that myth. What is true is that you must continuously improve or die. You must continuously improve your customer value proposition better than the competition. In all business, all you need to do is outrun the competition. Now, 3 things that a business can do to prepare for growth. First, appreciate the nature of business growth. Second, stay committed to a core strategy. Third, plan for growth. So the first thing, appreciate the nature of business growth. There are important realities. For example, not all businesses have the potential to be aggressive growth firms. A business can grow too fast, and business success doesn't always scale. Second, stay committed to a core strategy. It is important that a business not lose sight of its core strategy as it prepares to grow. If a business becomes distracted or starts pursuing every opportunity for growth that is presented, it can easily stray into areas where it's at a disadvantage. Third, plan for growth. A firm should establish growth-related plans. Writing a business plan greatly assists in preparing growth plans. It is also important for a firm to determine as soon as possible what its growth strategies will be. The 4 P's of growth: planning, prioritization, pace, and processes. Planning. What are your people, process, control, reporting, and daily information needs? Firehouse time. The other P is prioritization. Strategic focus, quality controls, cash management. What can cause big problems? Pace. Gas pedal approach. In processes, checklists and recipes. No single point of failure. Leave fire extinguisher behind. There are also warning signs that a business is growing too fast. 10, to be more precise. These are borrowing money to pay for routine operating expenses, extremely tight profit margins, overstretched staff, declining product quality, email and text messages start going unanswered, customer complaints are up, employees dread coming to work, productivity is falling, operating in a crisis mode becomes the norm rather than the exception, and those working with the business financial structure are starting to worry. Reasons for growth. There are 8. Economies of scale, economies of scope, market leadership, influence, power, and survivability, accommodate the growth of key customers, attract and retain talented employees. So for the first reason, Economies of scale occur when increasing production lowers the average cost of each unit produced. Economies of scope occur when the scope or range of a firm's operations creates efficiencies. Market leadership occurs when a firm holds the number 1 or number 2 position in an industry or niche market in terms of sales volume. Influence, power, and survivability. Larger businesses usually have more influence and power than smaller firms. Accommodate the growth of key customers. Sometimes firms are compelled to grow to accommodate the growth of a key customer. And finally, attract and retain talented employees. Growth is a firm's primary mechanism to generate promotional opportunities for employees. Managing growth. It is important for a business owner to know the stages of growth along with the unique opportunities and challenges that each stage entails. There are 5 stages of growth: introduction, early growth, continuous growth, maturity, and decline. Introduction. A startup phase where a business determines what its core strengths and capabilities are. The main challenge is to make sure the initial product or service is right. There are no written rules, procedures, and it is important to document what works and what doesn't work during this stage. Second stage, early growth. It's generally characterized by increase in sales and heightened complexity. 2 important things must happen for a business to be successful in this stage. The founder must start working on the business rather than in the business. Increased formalization must take place, and the business has to start developing policies and procedures. Third stage of growth, continuous growth. In this stage, the network structure and formalization increases. Often the business will start developing related products and services. The toughest decisions take place in this stage. One tough decision is whether the owner of the business and the current management team have the experience and the ability to take the business farther. The fourth stage of growth is maturity. A business enters the maturity stage when its growth stalls. At this point, the firm is typically more intently focused on managing efficiently than developing new products. Well-managed firms often look for partnering opportunities or opportunities for acquisitions or licensing deals to breathe new life into the firm. If new growth cannot be achieved through a firm's existing product mix, the next generation of products should be developed. And finally, the decline stage of growth. It is not inevitable that a business enter the decline stage. Many American businesses have long histories and have adapted and survived over time. A business' ability to avoid decline hinges on the strength of its leadership and its ability to adapt over time. Now, there are 2 categories of challenges for firm growth. The first one is the managerial capacity problem. The second is the day-to-day challenges of growing a firm. Okay, now, managerial capacity problem. Firms are collections of productive resources that are organized in an administrative framework. As a firm goes about its routine activities, it recognizes opportunities to grow. The problem with this scenario is that firms are not always prepared or able to grow because of limited managerial capacity. A firm's administrative framework. A firm's administrative framework consists of 2 kinds of services that are important to firm growth. Entrepreneurial services generate new market, products, and service ideas, while managerial services administer the routine functions of the firm and facilitate the profitable execution of new opportunities. New product and service ideas require substantial managerial services or managerial capacity to be successfully implemented. This is a complex problem because if a firm has insufficient managerial services to properly implement its new product and service ideas, it can't grow. The reason a firm can't quickly increase its managerial services to take advantage of new product or service ideas is that it is expensive to hire new employees, it takes time for new hires to be socialized into the culture of a firm, and it takes time for new employees to acquire firm-specific skills and establish trusting relationships with other members of the firm. When a firm's managerial resources are insufficient to take advantage of its new product and service opportunities, the subsequent bottleneck is referred to as the managerial capacity problem. Additional challenges. As a firm grows, it is faced with the dual challenges of adverse selection and moral hazard. Adverse selection means that as the number of employees a firm needs increases, it becomes also increasingly difficult for the firm to find the right employees, place them in appropriate position, and provide adequate supervision. So, three things in adverse selection. Difficult for the firm to find right employees, place them in the right positions, and provide right or adequate supervision. And moral hazard means that as a firm grows and adds personnel, the new hires typically do not have the same ownership incentive as the original founders, so the new hires may not be as motivated as the founders to put in long hours and may even try to avoid hard work. So the basic model of firm growth is composed of entrepreneurial services, managerial services, and firm growth. Entrepreneurial services is the recognition of a market, product, and service opportunities. It requires increase in managerial services, which is the administration of the routine functions of the firm and the execution of new business opportunities. And this is needed to accomplish firm growth. Achieving growth is measured by outcomes such as larger sales, revenues, and greater profits. Impact of the managerial capacity problem. Entrepreneurial services. As we said, recognition of the market, product, and service opportunity. We also talked about managerial services and firm growth. And the ability to increase the managerial capacity is constrained by socialization of new managers, managerial motivation, and as we mentioned, adverse selection and moral hazard. Day-to-day challenges of growing a firm. The challenges of growing a firm, the day-to-day challenges of growing a firm are cash flow management, price stability, quality control, and capital constraints. Cash flow management. A firm requires an increasing amount of cash as it grows. Price stability. If growth comes at the expense of a competitor's market share, a price war could ensue. Third day-to-day challenge, quality control. An increase in firm activity can result in quality control issues if a firm is not able to increase its resources to handle the extra work. And finally, capital constraints. Capital constraints are an ever-present problem for growing firms. Now this is the case for this chapter, Sir Kensington, pursuing a measured yet promising path to growth. If you remember, this was the case where two guys started producing a new ketchup, and there are three questions. And the first one is, there is a discussion early in this chapter of the need to prepare for growth. What action did Scott Norton and Mark Ramadan take that demonstrate their commitment to trying to fully understand growth and its ramifications for their firm? And here you can read the answer. Question 2. We noted in this chapter that core competencies are essentially what a firm does particularly well. What are the core competencies of the firm Sir Kensington's? How sustainable are these core competencies? And here you can also read the answer. Question 3. Look at figure 13.2, which shows the organizational life cycle. In which of these stages is Sir Kensington located? To what issues do Sir Kensington's founders need to be particularly sensitive in this stage? Here the answer.